So, Daniel, one thing to improve your ability to think is actually practicing sport. So it is well proven that if you practice sport, I believe between 4 to 5 times a week, at least 20 to 30 minutes a day, that will improve your ability to think and solve problems. Okay, so of course, exercises is solving problems. Making a code for a project is solving a problem. Okay, so did you catch what I said so far? Is it
Yeah,
clear to you?
catch. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. How was your exercise or homework?
I managed to do few of it, but I have a problem on the calculate MPG and miles to empty uh, constructor methods.
Methods. Okay. Can you please share with me what you have done so far? And until you start sharing, because you know it takes some maybe a minute or so to be able to see your screen. So let me again let me confirm that I already started recording. Yes, I already started recording, and I would like to actually know um, more about your project, because I see that your father is still having a concern about the project. He did not ask me clearly to actually involve in that. Um, I think your father is not a programmer or not an engineer, is he?
No, he he doesn't involve himself in the programming side, but he's let's say an IT consultant.
Oh, so he have ideas about technology in general.
Yeah, he has knowledge in that.
Oh, okay. That is okay. So I don't need to really okay go into too much details, but okay. The point here that uh, I don't see a relation between what we are doing at the moment and what um, I mean what you should be doing in your project. So it means that yes, we are practicing programming here, but the challenges that you will see on your project might be slightly different. So I'm just trying to check your project at the moment and see what I'm able to help you with. So it means that I need to maybe give you some directions where to go and what to do. Uh, you also need to understand that if you would like to have so how is your knowledge in JavaScript?
Knowledge in JavaScript.
Any
I'm gonna
any any ideas about JavaScript?
a scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna say around 5.
So
That's my knowledge.
you managed to write any JavaScript before? Any codes in JavaScript before?
Yeah, I manage in
Okay. And
at the
and
start.
okay. So sorry again. Can you repeat again, please?
Continue.
So okay, what about HTML and CSS? You already told me that you're able to write them, right?
Yeah,
So at the moment you are using PHP and you are using pair PHP means that you are not using any framework.
yeah, I'm not using.
Okay, is it prohibited from using? Are you prohibited from using frameworks?
It's advisable, but it's not crucial.
It's advisable not to use.
No, no. It depends on the students if they want to use framework or not. That's all.
Okay. What about MySQL? You know what is that?
It's a database, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. So do you know anything about MySQL?
Yeah. But,
And what about SQL?
yeah, I know, but that also.
Okay. So is it required that you store information in MySQL or no?
Yes, it's required.
Okay. So it means that you have to write SQL to store the data and retrieve the data. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. And okay. What is your weakest point? What would be if I mean, I have no idea yet about how I am able to really help, but just let me understand from you. So if you would like a push somehow in any of those, will it be in PHP or anything else here, or in the design itself of the code, or where to start?
Me on where to start, because I right now I'm hitting a ceiling right now. I don't know where to start. I
Okay.
don't even know where to start again.
Okay. Okay. Do you mind if you, if it is possible, that you share with me what you presented before in your project coding? So I understood from your father that you already submitted that project before and it was not accepted. If you have that code from before, if you are willing to share it with me, not just send it to me after the class, maybe. Let me have a look, and then
Sure.
yep, we are able to plan things. And the best thing, also, I can explain to you how we can start any project. It doesn't only apply to this; it applies to any project. Now, okay, let's back look at this example and let me know what is the issue that you're facing so far.
Facing here around here. This
Okay.
this is variable expected. I don't know what that means. I see.
Okay. Um, but can you explain to me what are we doing here and what is this calculation actually?
This thing, it calculates the, what's it called? MPG, miles per gallon,
Okay.
for a vehicle.
So okay, so it calculates how many miles the car can go for every gallon of fuel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then okay, we always have something that is very clear to us. So if we have a variable and we want to put a value inside the variable, so always we take whatever on the right side and we assign it to the left side. So always the place where we are going to store the data is on the left side, not on the right side. So we do not take from here and store it here. It's the opposite. This is wrong. This is correct. So let us have a look then at your, so what you are doing here is a calculation, and the calculation will end up with having a number. So let's assume this number is 100. So we are going to store the 100 in MPG, or we are going to store the MPG in 100. Any idea?
Can you repeat the question again?
Okay, so assume that this equation will result, so gallons, you will actually put a value in gallons, and you will also have a value for end miles, and you also have a value for start miles. Okay, and if this calculation or equation are done arithmetically, which is just a subtraction and a division, just simple like that, so we might have a number something like this 100.01. So it is a double number, right? Like what you defined here. Am I right? Okay.
Yeah.
So my question to you now is that, are we going to store this 100 inside the MPG, or we're going to store this MPG variable inside the 100? Which one are we going to do?
We're going to store the 100 inside the MPG.
Okay. If we are going to store the 100 inside MPG, it should follow this format. The format say that whatever on the right side will be stored on whatever on the left side. So it means that here you actually flipped what you should write, which is a bit strange. So I also wonder how you reach that kind of equation like that. So it means that we should say the correct way to express this, it means that whatever can result in a double value should be always on the right side, and the variable that should be receiving and storing the information should be on the left side. This is just common, not common practice, but this is how programming works. Okay? I believe you should also so the same problem is here. Okay, but the okay, you can try to run, please, if you don't mind. Are you facing an error?
No.
Okay, miles to empty is 0, 0. Is that correct?
No.
Does this match what you should expect? It's all miles, mile to empty is 0, 0, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Why is that? Any idea?
Because I I I declare MPG equals to 0.0.
Okay. So then if it is if you should not declare it to 0, what should you do then? Okay, can you please run like that?
So it has that it didn't be initialized.
Okay.
It has a
So okay, my then question to you that why don't you recalculate again the MPG? You need the MPG here, right? So
yes.
again, up here, you already make a function, a method, you already define the method to calculate the MPG, and it will return to you the MPG. Okay, so you are able to call that down to make your variable not empty. Do you know how to do that?
Have to call the method, right?
Have to call what? Sorry again? Yeah, have to call the method, yes. So you call the method, which is correct. The method will return something to you. If you do not store what the method returned to you, you will lose it. Did you understand what I said just now? Oh, I need to repeat it slowly.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So
Okay. Do you allow me to share something with you, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure.
Can you please? Yes, close, please. So, again, let me just. I'm trying to clearly open to you uh, in what I think and what I need to be able to help you. So, um, just in short, as you know, that um, we need to find ways to really push you forward, as you can see, and I believe you also feel that. So at certain times, um, I mean, you need to move before the pressure start to fall on your head. So I would say we already studied methods, and we already have taken that. So I would say if you don't know how to actually use a method and store its result, it doesn't mean that you are bad. It just means that you do not really revise the slides very well. If you revise the slides and you still do not really remember, so it means that you need to revise the slides more often, because that not will not only help you here, but it also help you in your project. So um, it is always, I always sometimes need to, I mean, I cannot lie to your father. If he asks me if you are making a progress, I have to tell the reality somehow, without making, without pushing pressure on you. But it means that we don't need to wait until there is a pressure on you to be able to move out. It's better to move out before there is a pressure. This is my advice. Okay. So, like I told you, I totally believe that any pressure really is not good at all on the students. But I see, I from what I see from your father follow up, the pressure is coming, um, even if we like it or no, we don't like it. So what I want to say is that we already take the methods. So if we want to move forward, then it's better that you always revise and that slide that we take. Okay. Can we try to do that from now on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So this is a library. This is a method inside the library. It takes input and it do some calculation and it returns an output. And the output is stored in X. So if we try to do system dot out dot print X, then we will find the result of this 2 to the power of 3, which is 8. Is that any problem in that? So it is clear here that anything that any method we call that returns something to us, we can assign its value in this way. So always whatever on the right side will be stored on the left side. So is that clear to you now, how we are able to assign things inside the method? If the
Yeah.
method does not take anything here, then you should pass nothing. So you should not give it any parameters. Like, for example, just also as a reminder, so again, I appreciate your honesty with me. It means that if you don't understand, uh, you will get lost from me. So if I am moving fast, please try to slow me down. Okay. The most important is that not we progress, is that you progress. So, okay, is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, so this is name, and this is also name one and name two. This is two strings, and we are storing zone in name one. Now, we call the length method on the string variable. So this is name one. We call the length, and this length is a method. How I know it's a method? Because it have two brackets like that. Do you see here? So these two brackets belong to the length, which means that it is a method. So he is calculating the length of variable one, which is name one. I mean here. Okay, so if we count, we find 4 characters. So this length will return 4. So far clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got 2 ways to actually keep or store variables that is returned by methods. You either can print it out, so it will appear on the screen, or you can save it to a variable. How you are able to save it to the variable? Same like we have seen here. So these 2 ways. You can put mass.power inside a print statement, or you can save it to a variable like that. So far, is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So just bear in mind, any progress in any project depends on the amount of code that you already write, and not only that, depend on something called helper functions. So helper functions, it's actually functions that you will keep building and reusing in your project. So the first project most probably is the toughest project that you ever do, and you will have to write, and maybe ending up to that you write maybe 10 or 15 or to even 20 helper functions. This is a small functions that you would like to actually reuse. So reuse means that, for example, so this one, I'm able to call it in any part of the code. Why? Because I put it in a way in a library that I can always keep calling it. So I want you to always think like that. Any code, or I not like that. So I would say divide your code into smaller parts. So it means that don't make your code maybe 20 or 30 lines. So any code inside a function that is exceeding 10 lines, you have to really think about this code again. And if it is more than 10 lines, most probably that we are able to actually reduce the code or the lines by building out of this code smaller helper functions. I know that maybe you are blur, maybe you don't see an example of that. But if you can please share your code again, can you please share your code? Excellent. So, okay, now you already managed to do this. Okay, this is how I calculate the MPG, right? Am I right? So
Yeah.
I did not write the whole code here. I can actually copy these 3 lines of code. I put it here, but rather I just use calculate MPG as a helper function. So it reduced 3 lines of code with 1 line. So that is what I call, this is a kind of helper function. So, okay, now does it work?
Yeah, it works, but I don't get the answer that he wants me.
Okay.
I got the MPG right. I just didn't get the mouse to empty correct.
Miles to empty. Okay. And okay, so could it be that what about the MPG? Is it the MPG is correct?
The MPG is correct.
It's only miles to empty?
Yeah.
Okay, and did you make sure that your calculation is actually correct? Did you revise your calculation if it is correct or not?
Yeah, the calculation says that I have to multiply the gallons of fuel remaining. So that means I have to end miles minus start miles and then times the MPG.
So can you let me see again your calculation, please? Okay. Miles to empty. So what can you please repeat again? What does it mean, miles to empty?
It's multiply the MPG by the number of gallons
No, no,
remaining.
I want
Yes.
the English meaning.
English meaning.
I mean, just explain it to me not in a mathematical order, just in bare English.
Miles empty.
I think it is in the it is. I'm not sure if it is written um, in the example. If it is, let me check the example, please. Okay, multiply the MPG by the number of gallons remaining in the gas tank. So can you please go again to the calculation and tell me how you know? So, okay, the end miles minus start miles, actually, what does it indicate?
Hit the distance the car travel.
Okay, yep, okay, so, but does it actually tell you, um, does it tell you the capacity of the tank?
No, it
So,
doesn't.
so okay, now I would just like to tell you here the number of miles. This is what we need to return. Number of miles the car can travel before the tank is empty. So you need to know how many. What is the current capacity of what is the tank capacity, and then you subtract the the gallons from it. So this is just to get the remaining gallons. And then if you manage to get the remaining gallons, then you are able to actually return the miles to empty. So miles to empty, how many gallons, how much fuel in your tank at the moment, and not only that, this kind of fuel that is remaining, how many actually miles it will allow your car to move. So you do not multiply. Yeah, okay. What is you done here? It's correct, but you are multiplying it by the gallons. So the gallons is what at the moment? From where you get that gallons?
Gallons I get from the code is given inside the code.
Okay, so what these gallons actually represent? Can you please read the input again, or read? Give me um, where in the exercise it tells us about the gallons. So it asks us to create an instant variable of type double. It's named gallons. This variable contains the number of gallons used by the car between the odometer reading. Do you understand what is that?
Yeah.
And it is telling us that the car gas tank has a capacity of 22 gallons. So these gallons is actually it does not really represent the amount of gallons that is remaining in the tank. It is representing the gallons that is consumed by the car when it moved from the start mile until the end mile. I need to repeat again.
Which means I have to, if the capacity is 22, that means I have to minus the gallons that is given, right?
Yes. So yes. So it is true that you need to subtract the you need to subtract the gallons from the tank capacity, because this is the consumed gallons. So only then you will have the remaining gallons. And okay, yeah. So you subtract and then you multiply by the MPG, and then I believe that will give you an excellent result. Does it match?
Yeah, it match.
Okay, but to be frank, I salute your effort today. I felt that you put a genuine effort to actually to actually solve. I really respect that a lot from you today. Okay, so believe me, I'm so proud of you today. You already put a very genuine and clean effort to be able to solve that, and that is I encourage a lot. Okay, the thing that really makes me slightly not very happy is that you have a chance to really progress a lot if you revise the slides. Every slide that we take, I think it is really worth revising at least 2 times. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So okay. Just let me go back to the car class, please. Typically, my advice to you, and this advice apply to any software that you need to write. Go up, please. This 22 should, it is not good that it is written like that. You need to put here, you need to define a variable of type constant. I know that we didn't take that, but so this 22 can be integer and it can be constant, and you can name it maybe capacity, and you make it equal 22.
So what about this?
Sorry again.
Public final, what does it mean?
Public final. So final means that this this is a constant variable that cannot be changed. So if you ever try to change a final, public means that it is available, so anybody outside the class can actually access the capacity. But this accessing the capacity does not mean that somebody can change it. So public means that we are able to access it from outside the class. I will show you how we do that. But final means that it is a constant. So it means that we cannot change that. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, now, can you create this public final, like what you mentioned? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's excellent. So you already created it here. Okay.
No, it's actually inside the question.
Okay, so it's already here. So it means that I don't need to use this 22 down. I can just use the capacity. Okay, and then I would say go please to here. Okay, can you write? Oh wait, no, I want to the car tester. Sorry, yeah, I apologize. So can you go down, please, or even here, just anywhere here also can. So write car 3, please, and put that in system.out.println. No, car 3 is, it is like that because it's a name of a variable. Just put system.print.
Wait, you want me to
print that?
print?
Sorry for confusing you. I'm speaking too fast, and sorry, I apologize. Okay, so can you put dot, please? Yep, excellent. Can you see the capacity that appear here?
Yeah.
Press it, please. Choose it. Okay, now can you start to run and see what that prints out to you? So do you see what is being printed out?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Go to the car, please. Car class. Okay. Can you try to access gallons from outside the class, same like we did here. See if that is it that possible. So from here, put gallons in a print statement and try to print it out. If you want to access the gallons, you have to mention they all belong to the car class. So we have to take a variable or an object of a car, and then we try to use a dot to be able to access its content. You can use car 1, car 3, whatever. Put the dot, please. Are you able to see gallon here? Cannot. Just continue writing gallons.
Yeah,
okay. Cannot. So when the variable is having the word private before it, so it means that it is not seen, it cannot be retrieved from outside the class. So so only capacity can be retrieved this way because we put it public. The gallons is actually not public, it is private. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Can we move on, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I wanted you to, yeah, let me share, please. Oops. Okay. I think you start to see my screen. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just this is a summary. Just going through some basics knowledge about computer. So a computer actually has many electronic components that work as switches from inside. So computer is just pieces of electronic. Maybe it is not only one piece, it is a different pieces that can work together to make the computer work. Okay, is that clear so far? Any problem with that? Okay, so components inside the computer actually, it is actually either it works in a two possible logic. So it's either on or off. Okay, so if you you pass electricity, it's like owning a switch, and that switch will cause something to on. If you off a switch, that will cause something to off. So this is just to simulate the on and off state. So the computer inside it, it can only work with two possible logics, on and off. And this logic actually is represented in binary form. I know that maybe binary is the new word for you, but I will explain that. So on is represented by 1 inside the computer, and off is represented by 0 inside the computer. So far, is that somehow clear to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me introduce you to, let me see here if this is, yeah. So I think you know that this number, this is the numbers that we dealt with in the mathematic, any arithmetic operation that you ever done. So this is, the 7 is actually referred to the thousands, and that 3 is actually referred to the hundreds, and then the 2 is for the tens, and the 4 is for the units. Am I right?
Yeah.
Is it clear so far like
Yeah.
that? So we call that in the computer system denary. we call that denary. Okay. Sometimes maybe in mathematics they call it decimal or integers. Which one? This kind of numbers, what do you call it in mathematics?
Integers.
Okay, that's okay. That's great. So inside the computer we call it denary. Okay, so denary is numbers that is they call it base 10. Why they call it base 10? Because this is the first number that the human ever created at the start. There was no computers since the beginning of livings. The ancient human only have 10 fingers. So he started to bring up a way to calculate things and to count things. And this is the first kind of numbering system that he ever come with. So we call it base 10. Why? Because there is another systems that is of base 2 and another system that is base 16. Okay, and they have different namings. But this is more related to computer science than to the normal counting that the human usually do using the denary system. So, but in short, the denary is a number that have a base 10. So let us look. So this 7,000, which is simply like that. So how many zero it have? 3. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you clear or confused?
Yeah.
Okay, so these 3 zeros, we are able to represent it in 10 to the power of 3. So, I mean, there's zeros only. So, I mean, at the end, this 7,000 is like you are multiplying 7 by 1,000. So this 1,000 can be easily represented by 10 to the power of 3. Okay, and hundreds, we are able to represent hundreds with 10 to the power of 2, which means that it is 100. So far clear?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so tens, it is 10 to the power of 1, which means that it is just 10. The units or odd, yeah, it's just units. So this is 10 to the power of 0, and and this is equal 1. So if you ever put anything to the power of 0, it will be always equal 1. So in short, if we know that there is a number that is to the power of this is a denary number and we have it base 10, so we will always say like that, this is to the power 10 to the power of 0, this is 10 to the power of 1, this is 10 to the power of 2, this is 10 to the power of 3. Does this apply to this number only or to any other number? To all the denary numbers. So if I have a number that is 8 4 6 1, that will be the odds, and this will have 10 to the power of 0. This will have 10 to the power of 1. So I need to multiply 1 by 10 to the power of 0. So it's like that. 1 to 10 to the power of 0. And I need to multiply the 6 with 10 to the power of 1 here. And I need to multiply the 4 with 10 to the power of 2. I need to multiply the 8 with what?
10 multiplied by 3.
Power of 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. So far clear? If I can understand correctly, you managed to collect that. Is it clear so far?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So let us have a look. Okay. Let us have a look about what the binary system looks like. So binary typically, at minimum, it is represented with 8 places. And binary numbers is either the ones or zeros. So if you have a binary number like that, so you always say that the binary number is base 2 number, base 2. So binaries are base 2. Okay, why is it base 2? Because you only have two possible combinations, either 1 or 0. And why denary is base 10? Because in your hand you have 10 possible you have 10 fingers, and then you are able to count from 1 until 10. So the basic part of this denary system, it is from 1 until 10. And so there is 10 possible combinations of numbers from 1 until 10. But here in binary, it's either 1 or 0. In a denary number, you can have 7, you can have 9, you can have 10. So this is all possible combinations for the denary. That's why we call it base 10. Here, it's only either 1 or 0, so two possible combinations. Clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So again, if you don't mind, so just now we said 7, maybe 6, maybe 4, maybe 1 here. So this is denary. So you see, this is how we represent that denary. And we say that here 10 to the power of 0, and 10 to the power of 1, 10 to the power of 2, 10 to the power of 3. Here it is slightly different. So we say 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3, and so on, 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 5, 2 to the power of 6, 2 to the power of 7. In total, this is 8 places. So why I'm saying it is 8, but I'm ending here by 7? Just because we're counting from 0. So far, okay or complicated a bit? Daniel?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, may I know, did you ever hear about that before?
About what? Denary?
Binary.
Binary. Yeah, I heard about binary.
Okay, so okay, that is actually good. Okay, and so if I put here maybe 0, 0, 0, 1, and then I put 1, 0, 0, 0. So to be able, so this is actually a binary number, okay, and it is represented in 8 places. If I want to know the denary equivalent of that binary number, because again, binary is actually, it lives inside the computer, inside the memory of the computer, inside the hard disk of the computer. This binary only survive. Outside that, we cannot really understand too much about binary. We need to deal with denary numbers. This is what we really, normal humans can understand. So you will never be able to show a binary number to an end user. End user does not really understand that. So we need a way to convert that binary to denary. Any idea how we can convert that?
Convert to binary to denary.
Yes. So just a normal integer number.
Just
I mean, how we can convert that binary to become like a normal integer number, like that. Any idea?
What's it called? Times. Do we times the power of 2?
Exactly. Yes. So if there is a 0 here, so we multiply the 0 by 2 to the power of 7. If there is 0 here, and then we add. So here 0, we multiply 0 by 2 to the power of 6. But we already know anything multiplied to 0 is equal what? So if you say 2 to the power of 7 multiplied by 0, what is the result?
0.
Excellent. So here 0, here 0. So it means that we don't need to really waste our time when it's anything mentioned here 0. We don't need to even waste our time putting it. So we focus on the ones only. So if we see a 1, we say 1 multiplied to 2 to the power of 5, like that. So we say plus, here we write 0. We don't need to waste our time with that. So 2 to the power of 3. So we say 1 multiplied by 2 to the power of 3. And then we put here 0 plus 0 plus 0. So even that also we no need to put it, because 0 plus 0 equals 0, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I can remove that, so I would simplify that term, because all this is zeros. So I just need to write the one that is non-zero. 2 to the power of 5 plus 1 to the power of 2 to the power of 3. So what is that, please? If you don't mind, what is the result of that number? 2 to the power of 3?
12.
It's 8. Daniel, sometimes I
8.
8,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, 8. Sorry.
Okay. And then 2 to the power of 5?
calculated.
No problem. 2 to the power of 5?
2 to the power of 5. 32.
Excellent. Okay. So it means that I would like to say 8 multiplied by 1 and 32 multiplied by 1. So if I multiply anything by 1, then I will have that number. If I multiply 8 by 1, I have 8. So in total, what is that? 32 plus 8?
32 plus 8. 40.
Yes. So the 40 is the equivalent denary number to that binary number. Okay? So the 32 that you told me about, it's here. So 2 to the power of 5, 32 here. It's already mentioned here. And when you mention 8, so 2 to the power of 3 is equivalent to 8. Okay? So it's already written here like that. So actually, the purpose of me explaining that is actually I want to reach one clear information, that what is a byte. So the byte and the bits is actually how the memory inside the computer is actually the space that we measure the memory and the storage areas inside the computer. Okay, so the size of computer memory, a binary digit, is referred to as a bit. So a single, so you see the ones and zeros that we put before. So a single binary number here is called a bit. And then nipple here is 4 bits. So a group of 4 bits like that, nipple. And then 2 nipples makes 1 byte. So 1 byte equal 8 bits, like that. So, and the byte is the smallest unit in the memory of the computer system. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, so inside the computer, we measure the RAM size, the memory size, in bytes. We measure the hard disk size in bytes. Okay, and bits and bytes, bits and bytes, always used to describe even the internet speed. So you have to deal with that. So if you have a website and you have a database for the website, you also can describe the size of the database also in that capacity. So you are able to say how many bytes is your database. Do you need to store your website online or no need?
No need.
So it's not required.
No, it's not required.
Okay. So there is two ways to actually describe the memory capacity inside computers. So let me see here. I press here. So there is one common way which say that, and this is produced by International System of Units standard, okay, SI. And there is two way to describe the capacity of the memory. So they use the typical SI, which is the kilo, mega, giga, tera, beta. Okay, and this is just fixed. So the kilo you even using when you're buying things from supermarket, right? So did you use the kilo before?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so but here we describe the kilobytes. Okay, so kilobyte is 1000 bytes. 1 megabyte, it is 1000 kilo, or we can say 10 to the power of 6 bytes. So that is 1 million bytes. 1 megabyte is 1 million byte, and it is represented with a short name which is MB, and kilo is represented with KB. A gigabyte is represented with GB, and 1 gigabyte is 1000 what?
1000 milli.
MB.
1000 MB megabyte.
Megabytes, yes. So every time you go up from here to here, you add 1000. So 1 megabyte is 1000 kilobytes. If you move from the megabyte to the gigabyte, you add another 1000. So when you add another 1000, it means that whatever giga is actually 1000 of the previous one. Okay, so the tera is also 1000 more than the giga. So you find that 1 terabyte is 1000 gigabyte, and then 1 petabyte, it is 1000 terabyte. So far clear or confusing?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, so but now, okay, so we use that way to actually describe the storage sizes. So any storage area like a hard disk or RAM, we actually use that kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte. But there is another system, and that sometimes become confusing. Let me see here. So this system is actually used more on the operating system, okay? And sometimes they say that it is used also to represent the memory sizes in the RAM, to measure the memory sizes in the RAM. And they say that, so they make a replacement for the kilobytes. Actually, both systems are used, okay? But one is used for storage and one is used for the RAM. So the RAM, we use kibibyte, kibi, not kilo, kibibyte. So what is the kibibyte? So it is also measured in bytes. So the byte is always with us, but kibibyte is 1024 bytes, not 1000 like the kilo. The kilo is only 1000, but the kibibyte, it is 1024. Confusing?
A little bit confusing.
A bit confusing, right? This is typical for everybody. Okay, so don't just don't worry about that. It's just typical. So again, like I told you, inside the operating system, the operating system actually report back to you the spaces available either from the RAM or even from the hard disk in this kind of system. So it does not use the other one. The other one is if you are dealing with a hard disk seller, Like, for example, do you know any hard disk sellers? It's brand names inside Malaysia.
Hard disk seller.
Yeah, I mean hard disk manufacturer name. So there is
Oh.
many factories that, especially in Penang Island, they have many like Western Digital. Um, just this is just for an example. So Western Digital is one of the most popular factories in Penang. So this Western Digital is a producer of hard disk. Did you ever hear that before?
Mm, no, I haven't.
Okay, so this typically will use the previous system, which is kilo, mega, beta, giga, and so on. But inside the operating system, then you will see that they are reporting using gigabyte, megabyte, and gigabyte, and terabyte. So KB, maybe, GB, and terabyte. So again, every time you move from one from the KB to maybe, you add 1024, and then here from the maybe to GB, you add another 1024, and here 1024. Previously we add 1000. Okay, so I will pass you the slides. It need a revision from you. It's confusing at start, but you need to be aware of that. Okay, so far okay or not okay?
Yeah, okay.
Would you like me to repeat explaining anything? Do you have any questions before we move forward?
No, I don't think so.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, that's good. Okay, let me then come here. I think we dealt before with if statement, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
done
so
before.
yep. Okay, uh, I would like to understand from you. Did you see that expression before?
Yeah, I've seen the expression before.
Okay, so did you ever use it the same way it is used here?
Yeah, I have used it before.
Okay, that is actually good. Again, if you need to be honest. And I mean, so at least I know that what you really know, what you don't really know. Okay, okay, clear.
Okay, yeah, it's good.
Okay, so this is the operators that we are able to use. So this kind of operators, typically we use it inside if statements. So to check the equality between maybe part one, part two. So if we need to check the equality, we use this equal. Okay, if we want to check if we need to make an if statement that check if both of them is not equal, so we use not equal like that, and the bigger sign and smaller sign, I think it's clear. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, can you, if you don't mind, please, can you tell me, if you write these 3 lines, can you confirm that you get that false and true here?
Yeah, I got one false, one true.
Okay, one false and one true. That is excellent. Okay, do you understand that? Why you get false and true?
Yeah, understand.
Okay, may I ask you please? Um, so it means that is it possible always to put conditions like that in a print statement?
Yeah, it's possible, but sometimes you can get an error, right? For string, if I'm not mistaken.
If you're comparing strings, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're true. Okay, so let me confirm that, but I think you know the basic. Let me go to, okay, so do you know, what do you understand from this if statement first?
This statement shows if the application accepted for a student GPA.
Yes. So will that be executed or not? This line will be printed out or not? Application
Yeah,
accepted?
the first one, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So may I know, please, if you don't mind, um, no, let me give you, go back to here an example. Okay, there is many ways that we can write if statements. One of them is to write. They call that a kind of a nested if statement. So you make an if statement. This is one. You make another if statement two, another third if statement three. So every so we test the condition. If it works, then we execute that statement. We test that condition. If it works, then we execute that statement. And the third also happened here. So far, is that kind of if statement clear to you?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, yes, but they have different usage. So typically, previously we dealt with if else. Can you still remember that?
Yeah, same, right?
Okay, so if else means that if this condition is true, then we will execute one if statement. So I mean, if the condition here is true, we execute that statement. If the condition is actually this one is false, we'll execute that statement. Is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear. So if the before this, the if statement means that it has to execute one of the statement has to be true, right?
You mean this slide or the previous slide?
The previous slide.
The previous slide, it will test for all of them. It means that it does not stop here. So it will test that and this and this. But in the current slide, it will because we have else. So based on the result of this, we will know we execute this or this. So it's either one. But the previous slide, we will test all. All means that they are irrelevant to each other. They don't know that each other exists. So this if statement does not know that there is another if statement before. It have no relation to it. It is independent test. So we test here, and we never know that there is another test here, and we never know that there is another third test here. So that have a certain usage, and the if else that we see have different usage. So we will go through that in the next slides. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but what is most important here, that this part of the else, is aware that there is another part here. So the if else is one whole part. Okay, it's not, it's dependent on each other, not independent. Okay.
Okay.
Clear? Okay, that's good. So have a look at this code, please, where we talk about if else.
Want me to write the code?
Not really write the code yet, but just to understand. If you understand, we move on.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so you understand that we are going to print either this line or this line. Am I right?
Yeah.
We will never print both of them. Is that concept clear to you?
Yeah, awesome stay.
Okay. So do you see the difference between when a GPA is equal 3 and when the GPA is equal 1?
Yeah. One
Okay.
is application denied, another one is the
Welcome to
Mass
mass.
University.
Okay. What about here? Can you see that? So can I know what is the issue with this code?
The issue is that the code is running.
Can you try at least to write these two parts of the code? 1 and 2.
Okay.
Okay. And what did you put here? Are you able to run the code?
Yeah.
So if we put inside the integer a %60, like that, try to run the code and let me know what is the output.
60, right?
Hmm.
I get nothing.
You got what?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So you neither is printed, nothing is printed at all?
No, nothing is printed.
That's a bit strange. Can you show me your code? You started sharing?
Yeah,
Okay. Are you sure you're executing that?
yeah, sure.
Okay, that is printed. Oh, yeah, you're correct. You're correct. Yes, you are correct. I want you to change that here to 90. Hmm. Can you see the output?
Yeah,
Okay, is that correct output?
yeah. In terms of finding the score, yeah, because all the if statement it says that more or equals to 80, 90, 80, 70, right?
Yes.
So if
Mm-hmm.
the percent is more the number that we provided, then it will print out all of it.
Okay, that is acceptable, but is that correct that we need to print to the user if he have a 90%, should we show him that you got A, B, and C at the all at the same time?
No, it's not correct.
It's not correct. So the using this kind of if statement might not be perfect in this current condition, right? So
Yeah.
he either got A or B or C. He cannot get all of them one shot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me continue sharing. So we call that a misuse of if. So this kind of if statement is actually not suitable. Okay, sorry, I did not share yet the screen with you. Okay, I already shared it. So this kind of if statement actually is not suitable for this kind of application. So if we only need to have a single output of those printed out, we cannot use this kind of if statement. We cannot use if statement that is independent of each other. Okay? So far clear or confusing?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So if we want to choose between different outcomes, we need to use else if. So it means that it will be one block of if statement that is either that is executed or this, or if none of the above is executed, then we will execute that. So far clear to you or confusing?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, can you please write that code? Okay, you can write that code.
Okay, done.
Not yet.
No, yeah. All right, done.
Okay. So what do you understand from this code?
This code shows if a user won the gold, silver, bronze medal.
Okay, that's fine. If I put, if you run that code with the place equal to, what is the output?
Silver medal.
Okay, and if we put 4,
Or it will have an error. We show nothing.
it will show nothing, but it will not show an error. Okay, so it means that this kind of if statement, where every second choice, which is this else, have an if, so that we risk a chance that maybe we will never print one of those. So if you write 4, you will not print anything. If you write 0, you also not print anything. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, now let us go back to this if statement. So may I know how many possible values for actually this x? So it can be either 0 or -1. Am I right?
Yeah.
What is the third chance? I mean, what is the other possible chance? So it's either bigger than 0, less than 0, or
Close to 0.
what is what?
Equals to 0.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's excellent. So there's only 3 possible choices, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can I know why we didn't put if x equals 0 here like that? Why we didn't put that here? Any idea?
Because if we put an if statement, then because there are no numbers that can be categorized more or less than 0 except for equals to 0.
Okay, so we know for 100% sure that x can never have a fourth possibility. It's either bigger or smaller or equal 0, right? It's only these 3 choices, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so, and it is very obvious, if it is not bigger or if it is not smaller, it must be equal 0. Am I right?
Yeah.
So that is the main reason we didn't write it here. It's so obvious. There is no other fourth choice. It's either bigger or smaller, which is tested here. And then the else, because it's very obvious, it must be equal 0 if we run this. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will also tell you more differences and when to use each if statement in the next class. Tell me first, do you have any other questions for me before we go?
No, at the moment.
Okay, so see you next class. Okay,
All right.
thanks a lot. Okay, take care. Bye bye.